Riding with the Rabbi.
Hello friends, welcome back to Riding with the Rabbi. You know what, maybe we should change the name because the last few episodes I've been not driving, so I'm actually riding with myself. I don't know what to, anyway, we did an episode in a fire truck. We did an episode in an ambulance, so it only made sense that now we're doing one in a police car. Thank God I'm in the front seat of the police car, not the back seat of the police car, but I'm here with our good friend, Kevin Mullaney. What is your official? Detective, Sergeant, what is it? Master Sergeant, what is it?
No, I'm just a detective now.
Detective. For a long time, Kevin was part of community policing, very involved with all of our shuls and schools, and I have to give a tremendous shout out to LPD. Livingston Police Department has a great relationship with Eitz Chaim. As you know, Chief Marshowitz, Captain Drum, the whole crew. Actually, I wanted to get them on, but they were a little nervous about what I might do to them in the car, so maybe Detective Mullaney is the scapegoat for them, and then maybe when they see that this is kosher, we'll get them back on. But anyway, thanks for joining us,
thanks for having me.
And most importantly, thanks for everything that you do for our community and you and the entire police department. And to me, it's kind of sad today that I have to actually specifically say to a police officer that we support you.
Oh, we appreciate it. Thank you.
But that's the reality of the world we live in, and of course, in the tri-state area, it's been a very, very tough week as we had two funerals in close succession in New York City at St. Patrick's Cathedral, and I know that LPD sent a delegation to the funerals as well. I saw that.
Yeah, we had officers both times, so it was nice. We got to represent and obviously show our support.
Right. So tell our viewers. We have approximately 6 people that watch the show. So tell us exactly what your role is in the police department, or like how you've come up over the years, because I know it's evolved over time. So why don't you tell us exactly what it is that you do?
Sure. So all police officers start in the patrol division, and patrol is really the most common officer that you would expect or think to see. They're the uniformed officers. They respond to traffic accidents. They respond to medical calls. I mean, if there's a shoplifting incident, a lot of people think that all policing is just, writing people tickets, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, really, any incident that takes place in town, whether it's a safety issue or a crime investigation, or again, a car accident, or you're sick to your stomach and you have to go to the hospital, the patrol officers respond. So patrol is really like the backbone of the department, and really of all police agencies. It's the marked officer in the car. Please, if you see a patrol officer, give them a wave, because they all work very hard. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There are patrol officers in the building, ready to respond to whatever the emergency is. After I was in patrol for a little bit, I went to community policing, and that's obviously how we met, Rabbi. Community policing is great. I think it's possibly the best position in the department, because what it is it's community outreach and really making bonds in the community with the citizens and with the schools and with the residents, and just saying, hey, we as the police department are members of the community too. And through community policing, we're obviously able to have a lot of events like National Night Out and even Coffee with a Cop, just to say, hey, come say hello and learn about us, and we want to learn about you. And what Chief Marshowitz always says is that we're a 74 man and woman department, and all of those officers are community policing officers, proudly representing Livingston. And while in community policing, I also really got connected with the schools and the temples and the churches and the public buildings in town, and I carved this niche of security. And when I fortunately got reassigned to the Detective Bureau in 2020, I was able to take that security component of my job with me, and that's really running drills that are soft targets in town, creating relationships, being there for security advice, and I've done some threat assessments on the buildings. And obviously, as a detective, I mean, it's sort of what you see on TV, where crimes take place and you investigate those crimes. You try to find out who did it. And I'm also lucky enough where I'm a juvenile detective as well. And the nice thing about being a juvenile detective is that for the kids, it's more about, you know, learning a lesson and about not repeating the behavior than it is about, you know, the traditional getting in trouble or anything like that.
I'm just a juvenile, so that's,
yeah, I figured.
good.
Yeah,
Okay,
I looked you up beforehand to make sure you didn't have any warrants. So,
you answered one of my questions I had in mind. There's 74.
yeah, give or take. I mean, don't quote me on it, but it's that's I think our.
Well, after today, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, it's around there. It's like 70 something police officers.
How does that size up with other departments, let's say, of a town this size?
You know, I would say we're so you hit me with of a town this size. So I'd say we're a pretty mid-range department. You know, my previous agency up in Bergen County, it was a lot smaller than Livingston, but we only had something like 21 police officers. You know, and then there's other agencies that have hundreds of police officers. So,
right.
You know, I would say that our numbers are, if I had to guess, a little low compared to the size of the town, but you know, Chief Marshutz has been able to, you know, distribute the ranks accordingly so that, you know, everyone's serviced, you know, equally.
Well, and your presence is definitely felt. I mean, and I'll tell you what you mentioned, the community element is that for you to get the feedback to know that what you're doing is working, that my kids come home from school every year saying, oh my gosh, Detective Kevin was there and told me not to do drugs. So, you know, and for the high school kids about, you know, drunk driving, things like that, driving while impaired. I mean, that's extremely important. And I think it's crucial for us to recognize that we're partners in the community.
I agree.
Sometimes people create this sort of adversarial relationship because maybe they had a negative experience, usually revolving around a speeding ticket, probably because, you know, we did something wrong, which is not like getting caught with getting the ticket or something like that.
No, of course.
But, you know, from our point of view, especially when security is at the forefront of our everyday life, and you've been a tremendous asset for us in terms of assessing our kind of preparedness, and it's a very, very important thing. Now, how many years have you been a police officer?
Believe it or not, this is year 10 for me, which is kind of shocking because I feel like I just started yesterday. So it was over in a blink of an eye the first 10 years, which is crazy.
Wow. And how did you always know that's what you wanted to be?
No. I mean, ironically enough, like, absolutely not. I always, you know, as a kid, not to be cliche, but, you know, I was into like comic books and superheroes and stuff like that. And I always liked the, you know, notion of, you know, being that person that can, you know, help serve the community and, you know, stop crime and help people. But, you know, ironically enough, what really got me into it was I was a swimmer throughout my life, all throughout, you know, high school and college, and I coached college, you know, after I swam in college, but I coached in Livingston, the Livingston Aquajet summer swim team for about 10 years. And I loved that job, and I was literally basing my, you know, year-long career, or what I was doing each year, to be able to return to coach to the Aquajets each year. And obviously that was something where you can't base the rest of your life on like a 6-week, you know, town program. But what I came to, you know, realize, I guess, from coaching the Aquajet swim team is just how much I liked being, you know, a role model in the community, how much I loved Livingston, you know, how much I helped Livingston, and, you know, that kind of like dormant interest in, I guess, you know, being the cliche crime fighter. Just, I remember one day, like, it all kind of clicked. I mean, after college, I did a bunch of things. I mean, I worked in media relations in a college. I was a teacher at an inner city school.
What are you, like 60 years old? How old are you?
No, I mean, I did a lot in like a short. I mean, I won't tell you how old I am. I'll say I'm a juvenile too. But you know, I did a lot, and I really didn't, you know what I wanted to do. And then, you know, I even went to business school at Seton Hall, and I was like, you know, I don't really know if I want to do business. And ultimately, just everything clicked. And, you know, I started my career up in Westwood, but it was really just a love for Livingston and the Livingston community that drove me back here. And I'm grateful that I had an opportunity not only to come back, but, you know, to be featured, you know, in these like nice positions where I can really make a difference.
And we are the beneficiaries of that decision. Okay, I love that. Wait, and by the way, so I think we have a Mazel Tov is in order, right? You just recently got engaged.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah, I got engaged in December.
And by the way, I have just 2 words. It's about time.
Yeah,
You
I know.
She was like, "Oh, my biological clock is ticking."
You're not the only one that's been saying that to me.
Well,
so.
you know what? It's great. Everything has to happen in its right time, and you need if you need a rabbi for the wedding.
I appreciate it. Listen, I might take you up on.
We might have to make some adjustments on your person, but that's a conversation for off.
Yeah, no, I'll take.
I haven't done many Mullaney weddings, to be honest with you, but look, there's always new experiences.
Listen, I'll take it. I'm definitely willing to take it.
But we're just we in the community, we celebrate with you and for you.
Thank you.
What I have two more questions.
Yes, sir.
What is the hardest part of your job?
That's really kind of a loaded question. I mean, I'd have to give it some thought, but I don't know if your viewers are going to want to ride into the night with the rabbi, so to speak. So I'll try to keep it brief. I mean, I think it's really just trying to, the shift work can be demanding, and I'm not really speaking from experience because I've had the privilege, I guess, to be in positions where my hours are more, administrative, unless I'm on call as a detective and I get called in at like 2 a.m. But, it's, we always have police officers on hand, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's always somebody working. We have to be on, immediately. We also have to, go from, I could be riding with the rabbi right now, having a great time, really joking around and laughing, and 30 seconds from now, there could be a fatal car accident, or there could be, there could be somebody, a violent crime taking place. So it's really just the adjustments of blood pressure and your mentality, and just, having to go into the unknown, really,
I can relate to this.
Oh, I'm sure you can,
Yeah.
but
you never know what the day's gonna bring.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That you said it better than me. That's why you're the rabbi, and it's also just we want the public to obviously understand our function, which is just like all of you, we're stakeholders in the community, and a lot of times we see people on their worst days, and we get that 911 call, and we don't know what we're running into, and
right.
Sometimes we get good information, sometimes we get bad information, sometimes the situation evolves, but ultimately we're here to try to help people and to perform a service and to really just keep the community safe.
I mean, I've always thought that people love to rush to judgment, but you have to make a routine traffic stop. Let's say you have no idea what's coming. I mean, so I don't know how you guys do it, and it's really, you got to have like nerves of steel, whatever. My final question is, and this is, I know you guys do a great job of trying to get the word out, but we live. And this is, thank God, it's a fairly successful community, and I would say that the average resident in Livingston is fairly intelligent. How is it possible that almost every single day you read about somebody's car getting stolen because they leave the keys in it unlocked with the fob inside? How is that possible?
I mean, listen, I'm really glad that you mentioned that, Rabbi, just because that is something that's really kind of been plaguing our town. I mean, pretty much every single day, there are people coming into Livingston and they're looking to steal cars. And the vast majority of the time, I will say 99.999% of the time, if not 100% of the time, they're looking for that low-hanging fruit. They're looking for that unlocked car, with the key inside. And some of the more, expensive cars, I don't have a rabbi salary, so I don't drive one of these cars. But some of the more expensive cars, they have mirrors where if the key fob is close or if the key fob is present in the vehicle, the mirrors are actually pointing out. So all the people coming to steal the cars need to do is they need to see an expensive car with the mirrors out, and it's game on. And I would argue that 90% of these motor vehicle thefts, if not a higher number, would be stopped, mitigated, avoided, if people just locked the cars and they hung on to their key fobs. Another thing that's been happening, not to scare people, but I do want to make it helpful too for people who watch your show, is people who leave their cars unlocked, maybe they're not leaving their keys, but they're leaving their garage door openers.
Right. Or if they have the home link button.
Yeah, and what they're doing is they're going into the vehicles, they're taking what they can take, including garage door openers, and they're returning at a later time to try to access the house to steal the car. So it is a little scary, it is a little unnerving, but my suggestion, my advice, whatever you want to frame it as, is please lock your cars, please hang on to your keys, hang on to your garage door openers, and you know, a lot of times that's really all it takes to avoid, you know, your car getting stolen.
Yeah, be smart. I mean, it doesn't. The headache of having to deal with it afterwards is far greater than the perhaps inconvenience of taking your keys with you. And you know, we don't want to do. I actually read a story, if I'm not mistaken, about something that happened twice to the same car.
That's yeah. Believe it or not, that was my case. And you know, yeah. The short answer is yes. I mean,
and it wasn't even. Well, okay, I'm not going to mention names here.
No,
I will never mention names of people that happened to, because it's embarrassing. But you know, okay. Anyway, public service. Take your keys inside, lock your cars. But most importantly, when you see members of Livingston Police Department, wave, say hello. If you see them on the street, if you see them in Dunkin' Donuts, buy them a coffee. If you see the chief, you see the captain, you know what? Say hello, drop a note, send an email. Just say thank you for what you do, because I just wanted to take this opportunity again on my personal behalf, but also on behalf of the congregation, is how much we appreciate the partnership that we have with the department. It means a tremendous amount to us. We support the Blue always, and we recognize and appreciate how you guys go out on the limb for us each and every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And you know, we just want to say thank you. Saying thank you is a very big thing in our tradition, and I just wanted to thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Congratulations on your upcoming nuptials, and I look forward to working together for many, many, many years to come.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thanks, everyone.